Hey guys, Ivan from Parsec here, and today we're going to talk about Reactive at Code Kshetra Hackathon, and that's why today I have here with me Arnav from Geek Room. Hey Arnav.
Hello guys, I'm Arnav Gupta, co-founder of Geek Room, and really glad to be on the stream.
Yeah, thank you for being here today. And I believe we have at least two parts of the audience. So the first part is the guys who came from reactive network channels and uh, would probably like to learn about Geek Room. And another part of the audience is the audience who came from Geek Room and would like to learn about reactive network. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us today. I think we'll start about short intro about the Code Kshetra Hackathon. So we, as Reactive Network, partnered with Code Kshetra Hackathon and decided to become a title sponsor because we like that opportunity very much. And Arnav, please share more about Geek Room and about Code Kshetra 2.0 Hackathon.
Okay, so hi guys. Most probably everyone knows already about Code Kshetra, but let me just tell you guys again. So Code Kshetra is the biggest hackathon in India right now. We have almost 14,000 applicants, and the hackathon is open. Right now, we are focusing on improving the quality of hackers in the hackathon, and we'll be selecting almost 500 carefully selected people from these 14,000 people, and these people will be participating in the hackathon for a 36-hour time period, and they'll be competing for cash prizes, swags. There will be many kind of problem statements along with some fun parts as well, bonfire, some dance performances, and other many mini games we have also kept for you guys. Uh, Coming to Geek Room, I'm very proud of Geek Room and the community we've built. We are a community of 30,000 plus developers, constantly innovating, trying to create something new, and upskilling ourselves. Most of the people and most of the people in our group already have internships, doing jobs, etc. Due to this positive coding environment. And basically, as Geek Room, we organize these massive hackathons, global hackathons, national hackathons, tech meetups, technical conferences, and other such kind of stuff. We also establish chapters in multiple colleges. We have chapters in almost 20 plus colleges right now. And if you want to establish a chapter in your college, you can contact us as well. We can make that happen. So yeah, that was a bit about Geek Room. I have a very positive, very hardworking team as well. I'm very proud of them for like pulling off this great hackathon. So shout out to them as well. Yeah. So that was a bit about us.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing. And could you please also shed some light on the hackathon itself? I mean, where it will be, the prizes, the sponsors, that kind of stuff.
Right. So the hackathon is in Jim's Rohini, Delhi. It will be a 36-hour hackathon. 500 people will be competing in it. We have massive, really great sponsors. One of them being, of course, Reactive Network. We also have with us Grok, which is a AI sponsor. We have with us AI Hello. We have Pathways, GitHub, of course, and Neo Apps as well, and many other sponsors like Wolfram, B Scepter, Balsamic, etc, and all of them are really crucial for pulling off this massive event, because without their support and help we cannot actually put in our money to our money and our swags to pull off this great event. So thank you guys, thank you for supporting us as well. And the participants will be competing for a prize pool of around 1 CR. We'll be providing you with API credits of multiple companies with multiple services like Grok, uh, Reactive Network. They are also providing a prize pool of massive prize pool of 80K USD. Along with that, we'll be providing cash prizes of up to 1,000, 2,000 USD as well. So yeah, it will be a massive hackathon, and I hope you all will have fun in it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to that and probably to meeting you as well, right? You will be there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm also looking forward to meet you.
yeah, sounds great. Uh, Yeah, so I believe now we can talk about reactive network a bit. I believe I have prepared some kind of talk about technical details, but I think it makes sense to start with what you think will be the most interesting for your audience. So, with your questions to me, Arnav.
Definitely. So yeah, let me just start with some basic questions like what is your role in the company Reactive Network?
Yeah, so generally, we're building a tool for blockchains and blockchain applications to automate their workflows and to allow cross-chain automations as well. So let me share some simple scheme here. I don't know how much you guys are aware of how smart contracts, Ethereum smart contracts work, but generally, reactive smart contracts are built on top of that. So for Ethereum smart contracts, automations generally are not possible because Ethereum smart contracts only react to user transactions. So whenever a human or a script runs a transaction, then it happens. So it cannot be initiated by itself. It cannot be automated. So that's the problem that we decided to solve, and that's how it's done. For instance, you have this yellow origin smart contract on the left, and you want to build some automations on top of it, some event. So whenever this event happens, you want an action to be executed automatically and also in a decentralized manner. So a reactive smart contract monitors this event, it reacts with its own logic, and then it calls the transaction on the destination chain, which may be the same chain like Ethereum to Ethereum, or you can, for instance, monitor events on Ethereum and react on Polygon or on some other EVM chain, if that makes sense.
Great, great. That's really cool. So like how would the participants incorporate your technology and build upon it? How will like Reactive Network help participants to level up their projects?
Yeah, so whenever participants want to allow any type of blockchain activity, any type of Ethereum transactions, they might have a need for automation and for cross-chain actions. And that's when Reactive steps in. So if you guys are dealing with Ethereum smart contracts and you want to automate your actions or you want to do some actions between several chains, that's when you need Reactive.
That's great. That's great.
So the use
So
cases for this
yeah,
technology would be some of the listed above. For instance, a stop order, which exists on centralized exchanges where you specify the price at which you want the order to be executed, but it's not there for decentralized exchanges yet. So Reactive makes it possible. Also, it makes possible cross-chain Oracle, where you automatically bridge data between several chains. You have an Oracle on one chain, and you want to have the same Oracle on the other, and it super simply can be done using Reactive. And some other things, such as reducing unnecessary steps for any DeFi actions. You can reduce several steps where you approve and then swap to just one transaction, and many more.
great, great. So does anyone in the participants? Yeah, there are some questions. Someone is asking what's cross-chain Oracle?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So generally, we calling a cross-chain Oracle a system where you have an Oracle on one chain that provides all the data that you need, and you use it to build an Oracle on the other chain. So instead of replicating all the off-chain infrastructure that allows people to put data from off-chain world to on-chain world in a more or less decentralized manner, and this what an usual Oracle is. Replicating this whole infrastructure is pretty complicated. However, just building a reactive smart contract that will help you get this data from other chain is super simple. So you already have this data in a trustless manner on Polygon, for instance, and you want to have it, for instance, on Manta. In that case, you build a cross-chain Oracle using Reactive, which is much simpler than deploying a new Oracle on a new chain.
Great, great. There's one more question. Do we need some kind of credits to build on Reactive?
We have testnet, and also there will be mainnet, and to run and to deploy and to run smart contracts on Ethereum and on every EVM chain, and reactive network works the same, you need the native token. However, for the participants of the hackathon, we will provide this token, so they won't need to do it themselves. We'll provide the credits, so to say, to build on Reactive.
That's great. Yeah. So, like, what are the prizes for the participants who will be building on Reactive Network?
I believe I have a dedicated slide here. So we are distributing 20K as immediate prizes. So participants come to the hackathon, they participate in the hackathon, they apply for our tracks, and 20K is distributed between the winners. So the immediate prize is 20K, but also winners and other good projects will be eligible for our grant program. And for this purpose, for this hackathon, we allocate 80K in grants. It's not guaranteed that all of them will be distributed, right? Because we need to evaluate the projects. But yeah, we aim to have as many good projects as possible. And yeah, 80K in grants for building and improving your project after the hackathon, right? So the tracks will be the open track where you can build whatever you want using Reactive. No
Right,
limitations
right.
here, except for the need to use Reactive Network. Then also we will have AI track, which I, as a matter of fact, specified incorrectly here, because it will be a DAI track, which is DeFi, decentralized finance plus AI. So these are, I believe, this is a cutting edge area, so to say, and you guys will be able to explore it with us in our dedicated track. And then there will also be a minimalist track so for open track and AI track, there will be three big prizes: first place, second place, and third place. And for the minimalist track, we will have a bunch of smaller prizes for every project that significantly uses Reactive. But it might be a super small usage just for the small task. Whenever you use Reactive in your hackathon project for anything, you'll be eligible for the minimalist track. And yeah, like
Right.
as you have said, the hackathon will go for 36 hours. We will be there, at least two members of our team, probably three. We will provide the mentorship. We will do the workshops. One, I believe, we will have on site, and
Right, right, right. You will be having an offline session.
yeah, and we will be there, available, and like also it's a pleasure for us always to interact with developers, to listen to their ideas, to try to help with something. So that's one of the reasons we are joining your hackathon.
Definitely, it will be a pleasure. You are coming all the way from UK for the hackathon.
No, not really. I'm coming from Tbilisi, Georgia, and I believe my colleague Kishan, he will be coming from the UK.
Okay, okay. Great, great. Yeah, so people are asking any tutorials to start with Reactive.
Yeah, sure. So as a matter of fact, let me share another window. This one, right? We tried to create as much developer content as possible to make it super clear and easy to onboard. So all you need to do is you go to reactive.network, and then you go to docs. And from here, you have on this page, you have all the links that you need to start. You can get testnet React. You can deploy your first reactive contract, and that will lead to a guide with the code example on GitHub. You will see more demos like how to, and I believe if we have time, I will show some of these examples on this stream. So yeah, we try to make it as clear as possible. And if you want deeper explanations, like not only how to do that, but why to do that, you can go to educational materials here. So yeah, guys, please explore. We have a bunch of documentation, tutorials, examples here. And also we have developer chat here when you can where you can ask all the technical questions and a bunch of other content. But that I will believe would be the main point of entry for developers.
Great, great. So I had a question. So like, what are some similar technologies like Reactive in the market, and how is Reactive better than them?
Yeah, so that's a good question. As a matter of fact, let me hide this one. Okay, there are some players that are doing a similar thing, and some players that are trying to do the same thing. Those who are trying to do the same thing, I believe they are pretty early stage, uh, and I believe I could mention chain link automations here. They do something similar, so on-chain automations, and CoinWeb and some other players. And if we talk about something that not exactly like us, but something similar to us, which is also cross-chain interoperability, then there are already big and well-known players such as Xlar, Hyperlane, Layer Zero, and others. As a matter of fact, we have some of them under our hood. So it's not direct competition because they provide cross-chain messaging, but they don't do automations in a sense where you actively react to events. So that's pretty unique to Reactive. And if you want to do this exact thing, you will have to choose between us and a few of the other competitors who are pretty early stage.
Right, right. Yeah, so one person is asking, how will you judge our projects on Reactive?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. So we will provide a detailed description of what will be the judging criteria so that the participants will have all the necessary information to build, to understand what we're looking for. And we would have a clear way to evaluate what has been done. Mainly, it will be several things. So first of all, it will be the fact that reactive is being used, right? But also the fact that reactive is being used for a good purpose. So not just to be there, but to solve some actual task that cannot be solved otherwise or can be solved in a less optimal way. So that's the main thing we will be looking for: a new problems to which reactive is a solution, right? But on top of that, there's obviously just a complexity and coolness of the app, right? And the presentation, the explanation. So the use case, the significant use case is the first thing. And the second thing is just how much you built, how good it is, how well it looks, and how justified your application is.
Right, right. So yeah, so this is someone asking. This is my team's first time building on Reactive or Web3. Any tips?
Yeah. So first of all, I envy you because it's super cool to start in Web3, and I think you will have a great experience that will be interesting at least. So the first tip would be to enjoy the process. Then I believe there is a lot of good materials on the internet on Solidity, smart contracts, on EVMs, how to build on that. A lot of good code examples. So it's pretty easy if you have programming backgrounds, some with programming background. It's pretty easy to start with it, right? It's complicated to write a good and a secure smart contract, but it's pretty easy to write a simple one. So yeah, just feel free to explore the materials for Solidity smart contracts and start there. And then to build reactive smart contracts, all you will need is our docs, and you can also ask questions. You on the hackathon, you will have us in person. You can ask questions in person, and if you want to try the technology before that, you can ask questions in our chat. We are trying to be as responsive as possible.
Great, great. So do you have some ideas or like some tips for the participants while building on Reactive so that they can like score better in your sheets or like get some good prizes or build a good project?
Yes, yes, sure. As I have said, we will give some of the tips in the instruction, so it will be pretty detailed, so that we will be on the same page with the developers. But yeah, generally the tips would be to brainstorm well to make sure that what you are building actually makes sense. That's what we're looking for, and I believe that's what many other sponsors are looking for. So
Right,
that
right.
the technology is used for a good purpose, so they have a good use case and they can later market it or sell it or reuse it. So yeah, first of all, make sure that what you're offering makes sense, and just spend some time with your team researching and brainstorming for that purpose. Yeah, the second tip would be to give some time to document and create some explanatory materials, right? Because when you're building something, you understand what's going on, and the deeper you go in it, the better you understand, and the more you forget what it is to not understand it, right? And the judges, and like us or other judges, they're not that deep into your tech, and they need additional explanation. So yeah, make sure that what you have built is explained clearly, right? And yeah, and the third tip I would say would be try to explore synergies. So there will be us, there will be some other sponsors, and for instance, for us, it will be cool if you could find something on the intersection between us and other sponsor, because in that case,
Yeah,
it could.
definitely. Because like right now, AI and Web3 are really popular. They are the hot topics. So if someone makes a project using both of them, that would be like a great project for them as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And also, you will be eligible for two prizes, not one.
Yeah, right. So yeah, someone is asking Senku, how does the reactive network ensure security and privacy?
Yeah, so for the privacy, it does not really ensure it because it's a public blockchain, same as other public blockchains. It's rather destroys it than ensures it, right? Because whatever you put on the blockchain, it's public. In that sense, it does not ensure privacy. You just need to understand that you just put there only what needs to be there, and no private information needs to be there. So it's the developer's job to ensure the privacy here. And for the security, first of all, our own code quality ensures this security because we have a good team of developers, an experienced team, and we have built this network to be as robust and as secure as possible. And then, if we're talking in the context of existing applications, uh, what we're aiming at is replacing centralized automations with decentralized automations, right? And if we manage to successfully do that, we eliminate a bunch of attack vectors for this centralized part, right? Where a person can have access to these private keys, might be stolen. A lot of stuff can happen. Obviously, with smart contracts, some stuff can happen too, but attack surface will be much smaller here, and it can be just audited. And after that work, and with a centralized setup, you can never be sure that at every given moment everything will be all right.
Okay. Okay, so last question from my side. Then I think we can move to the technical part. Uh, so yeah, so as you know, there are almost 14,000 applications, and we'll only be choosing 500 participants. So all those participants who will be rejected in the like online round, do they have some way to like participate in the reactive track and submit their projects, so they can also try to win some prizes and build their project on your blockchain.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I understand the question correctly. Could you please repeat the beginning?
Yeah, so basically, I'm saying, as you know, that most of the participants will be rejected in the online round, right? But they would also want to participate and build something on the reactive blockchain. So, will there be any link or somewhere they can submit their project so that they can also be eligible for the like prizes of reactive network?
So they will also be participants of your hackathon selected by you, right?
Yeah, yeah, oh, definitely. There will be 500 participants who will be participating offline, but there will be many who will be rejected today, right?
Okay.
Then So can they participate in some way as well
Uh,
online?
yeah, I think that's possible.
Okay, that's great. Yes, so I think we can move forward to the technical part and answer the questions in the chat sometime later.
Okay. So let me see what I have else prepared here. Right. Okay. So for the technical part, a good thing to show is our previous hackathons winners to give our hackers some thought of like what might be a good example of a dApp using reactive smart contracts. So let's go here. This is basically our previous hackathon. And to prepare for Code Kshetra 2.0 Hackathon, you can actually take a look at this page. It makes a lot of sense because we have tracks descriptions here. I mean, all tracks, but the new tracks descriptions will be done more or less in the same way. We have winners here mainly, and I believe that's the most interesting thing you can take a look at, right? So another important thing about the winners is that for our previous hackathon, we also, for our own online hackathon that we did, we also had a grant program, and our winners applied for a grant program, and now they received our grants, and they're building their applications with Reactive Network. So what I'm trying to say is that your participation in Reactive might not end at the hackathon. If you like the technology, if you build something cool, we can continue working with grants and with other ways as well. So yeah, let's take a look at some cool stuff here. So first place winner is a non-locking flash loan. It has all the explanations here on this page. You can take a deeper look. You can take a look at the code. But generally, what it does, it improves on the existing flash loans. In a flash loan, a person takes a loan, does something with that money that allows to get profit, probably some profitable trade, and then returns the loan, and all in one transaction, right? That's why it's called flash loan. And
Mhm.
to do that, you first need to have this money, right, for people to take. And that's why a lender, they provide the money and they need to deposit it to the pool, right? And when you deposit it to the pool, it's there, you cannot move it. And when you withdraw it, it's not in the pool anymore, right? So that's a thing that this particular setup improves. It allows you to participate in a lending pool without sending your money to the pool. You just need to approve money to the pool, and then when the request for money comes, Reactive does the job, and it's implemented within one transaction where the funds are taken from your account and then do the job and then return back. This is good because it allows you to participate in several pools with the same money, and just sitting there waiting for a deal on one of these pools to come, right? We have a bunch of good stuff here. Also, a reactive bridge, which is generally just a bridge, but built using reactive technology. And I believe it's pretty simple, simpler than like the existing bridges. Also, reactive flow lender, which is a winner for our cross-chain lending track. And yeah, this is a cross-chain lending where you provide liquidity on one chain, and then you take the loan, take the money on the other chain, and you return loan on the second chain, and you get your money back on the first chain, right? And yeah, a lot of good stuff here. So you feel free to explore. I believe it all has links to videos with the interface. It all has links to GitHub, so you can take this as an inspiration.
That's that's really great.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, let me share some simpler code examples. Just to,
Someone is asking, can you drop this hackathon link in the chat?
oh yeah, sure. Give me a second. Here we go. Yeah, Dave has shared it already, and I've shared the winners link.
Great, great.
Okay, and I
Yeah,
believe,
one more question.
Mhm.
Someone is asking, can we submit more than one project?
Yes, yes, I think it's possible, definitely.
Great.
Okay, and I believe I've covered all the high level stuff, the organizational stuff, and I don't have a lot to share on top of that. But I just wanted to show some lines of code for developers to, like, to uh, break the ice so that they have already seen what reactive is, and to show that it's actually pretty simple to use, especially if you've already used usual smart contracts, Ethereum smart contracts. In that case, it will be pretty simple to you. So yeah, this is the repository that you can find in our docs. This is the main repository with our code examples. And let me dive into the simplest one, which implements the super basic thing where you can basically, I've just shared. Let me show it again. I've shared the scheme, the principal scheme of what happens. Some event happens, then reactive smart contracts react to it and executes the resulting action on the destination chain. So this is not even a real use case. This is just the demonstration of principle. So let me show the code that does that. Yeah, so as you have seen on the scheme, there are three smart contracts: origin, destination, and reactive. So in that case, this L1 contract is origin, this callback is destination, and this is a reactive smart contract. So let's take a look at the origin. This is a super simple mock-up smart contract. All it does, it receives money, right, and gives it back, and emits the event with the sender and an amount of this money, right? So basically what it does, we send money to it for it to emit an event, because reactive network, it monitors events and reacts to event. Okay, we've deployed this contract and we send money, and this received event is emitted. After that, that event is being tracked with the reactive smart contract here. So it has a bunch of code here. I won't go through all of that code, but generally it's pretty simple. It just sets up the all this stuff to monitor. So the events, obviously the events we monitor by topic 0, by contract on which they occur, and by chain ID, because we can monitor several chains, right? So this thing here describes the event itself. It's a standard code, so you won't need to write it. You will just reuse it, right? Standard code here to subscribe to an event, right? Because you need to let the reactive network know what events on what contract you're interested in. That's why you subscribe to it here, right? All the stuff is explained in detail in our documentation. So I'm not actually explaining it right now. I'm just showing and going through to give you a super brief, just to show you that it's simple. But yeah, the actual in-depth explanations there in the docs. And yeah, so this is the main thing that happens here, where a reactive contract reacts to an event. So whenever this event happens, from the technical standpoint on reactive network, this React function is executed in the React VM, right? And this is what happens after this event is seen, right? So it's also not a real use case, it's just the demonstration of technology. But what it does here, it checks that the transfer done in the first transaction by the user is bigger than 0.1 Ether, right? And then it constructs the callback. In that case, it's just a callback function with one parameter, which is 0 address, right? And then it emits the callback event. And this is one of the few differences between reactive smart contracts and usual Solidity. this particular callback, because in reactive smart contract, emit callback is a keyword, a special keyword, which results in sending a transaction to the destination chain, to the callback smart contract, basically to send a callback, right? So, and this callback looks like calling the callback function on the destination contract. So yeah, now let's take a look at the destination contract, this one. And what it does, it has this callback function, which we call, right? It accepts the address of the sender, and it just emits an event for us to, for debugging purposes, to see that our setup has worked. So yeah, you guys can take a look at this one. This particular example, it's super simple. It has all the instructions in the README. If you have previously worked with Solidity smart contracts, it will be super obvious to you. If you have not, you can just accurately follow the instructions and it will work. So the main instructions on the GitHub there for hard hat. Also, if you're using Remix, we have an article in our blog how to use it with Remix and on our docs as well. So yeah, please feel free to try the code examples. We aim to make them as clear and as reusable as possible. And also, if you have any questions or feedback, please tag me or any other or Konstantin on our developer chat. Okay,
Great,
and
great. So we have received some questions.
okay.
Someone is asking what technologies or protocols does the reactive network utilize?
What technologies or protocols does the reactive network utilize? Yeah, so mainly it utilizes EVM in a broad sense. So we are connected to, we ourselves are an EVM chain, and we are connected to other EVM chains such as Ethereum, Base, and so on, right? So this is the main thing that we're using. Obviously, all the tooling that's available for EVMs and Solidity smart contracts, it's also available for reactive smart contracts. So you can use linters, security checkers, IDEs, Remix, all that stuff. It's reusable. And protocols, we are our own protocol. We're just a separate EVM chain. Technically, it's an L1 chain, but from the user perspective, from the developer perspective, it's not an L1 because you don't need to deploy all the DEXs, all the applications there, all the liquidity there. You just use it as an interoperability layer. Yeah, I believe I've answered this question. This question.
Okay. The next question is, as a beginner in smart contracts, what would you suggest me to start with?
Yeah, I would suggest to start with taking a look at some simple introductory courses. I think do you guys Geek Room probably have any educational courses on that?
We don't have any educational courses, but we do share courses from time to time for like free courses so that people can learn technologies. So yeah, I can provide him with some blockchain courses as well.
Yeah. Also, I believe they had a good. I will share a link in a moment in the chat. So there is a platform called Learn Web3. We're in the process of partnering with them, and they maybe will host our educational course there, but they have a lot of good introductory stuff of their own. So they have this introductory Solidity courses, which I liked. Yeah, they're pretty good. So yeah, to start, you can use this, and then you can go to our docs, to our code examples, try to run those code examples, and then try to ask ChatGPT about everything you don't understand. And if you still don't understand, then you can ask us in the chat as well.
Great, great. I'll also have a look at them. Someone is asking, how does the reactive network interact with other blockchains?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So it interacts in two ways, which are reading and writing. So for reading our own nodes, our own infrastructure, it monitors the EVM chains, the ones that we're connected to, for events. And whenever such an event happens, it triggers the reactive smart contract. So that's how it's done on this end with our own infrastructure. And then with the destination chains to which we write, which are basically the same chains, you can just read from one and write to another, or read from this and write to that, and so on. So yeah, for writing, we will be initially relying on a cross-chain interoperability protocol such as Hyperlane, right? And they will provide us. They are providing us with the infrastructure of writing in a decentralized manner, sending transactions.
Great. Okay. How does Reactive Network handle oracles and external data feeds?
Yeah, so Reactive Network does not, if you want to have an Oracle on Reactive Network, you can build it the same way as for any other network, right? So all the existing stuff, it will be deployable on the Reactive Network because it's just an EVM chain and it does everything EVM chains can do, right? But on top of that, you can use Reactive to build better oracles on other chains. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to deploy oracles on Reactive or deploy other dApps on Reactive, but you can use Reactive to bring data from oracles on chain A to, for instance, chain B, where you, for instance, don't have some popular oracle, you don't have some data, so you can use Reactive for that. And external data feeds. I'm not sure what this like how to answer the question. I believe you can input external data feeds to Reactive Network. Obviously, it just does not make a lot of sense to me. Also, because we can just monitor oracles on any other chain, and we can grab this data from any other chain, so you don't really need to add more external data feeds. However, I believe we're in talks with some of the data feeds providers, and if they provide some kind of cool, interesting data that we don't have, we will have it as well.
Great, great. So I think those were all the questions. We can move forward now.
Uh, and I believe that's more or less it from my side. The last thing I wanted to share is our dev fund. So in case you guys have already an established project, so in case you are just starting out, you can go to our hackathon, then win prizes, apply for grants, go this route, right? But if you already have an existing project, you can apply for our dev fund. So if you have some kind of application that's already operational and you see value in utilizing reactive technology, you need to automate some actions across one chain, or you need to do some cross-chain actions across several chains. In that case, if you have a good use for Reactive, you can apply it for our dev fund and also get a grant from us to implement this thing. So you will be, on the one hand, you will be solving the technical problem that you have, but on the other hand, you will have some money to cover the developer expenses to do so.
Great, great. So someone is asking, can you give some real world use cases where the reactive network provides an advantage?
Sure, with pleasure. Let me go to this list again. So yeah, as I have said, a stop order, I believe it exists in Uniswap v4. So they've done it in the latest version, but it's not there for the previous versions, and it's not there for some other exchanges, right? But with Reactive, you can build a stop order on top of any existing and deployed DEX. So you don't need to be the developer or the creator of this DEX to add a stop order on top of that. You can use this thing just for you as a final user. And as a matter of fact, one of the winners of our hackathon, which is Reactor, will allow you to use this stop order without even writing any smart contract code. You will just go to the application. It allows you to deploy the stop order, and after that, everything the stop order is already monitoring the pool of your interest and will do the trade on your behalf. I mean, if you approve the funds for that, right? Then another example I've already mentioned and explained in detail, it's a cross-chain oracle. So let's say you have some new chain where you lack data, or because this chain, for instance, hasn't partnered with Chainlink or other popular data providers yet. In that case, you will find a cross-chain oracle useful because you will be able to bridge this data from Ethereum or from Polygon, where you already have good trusted oracle data, and you just bridge this data to your chain where you don't have these popular oracles. Another thing is a one-step swap, where you just approve the funds to be swapped, and the rest happens automatically. So in existing DEXs, you need to sign several transactions in your MetaMask. With one-step swap, you will need to sign only one transaction, and after that, the swap is being done by the setup, right? Cross-chain lending, I've also mentioned. You provide liquidity on one chain, get loan on the other, return the loan, and get back the liquidity on the first chain. Reactive bridge, obviously, that's just a reactive setup to build a usual bridge where you build bridge tokens from one chain to the other, which is also pretty real world and practical. And in some sense, the most practical use case, because we're already working with like an actual B2B client on that use case, it's automated fee collection, where they have a bunch of liquidity pools, a bunch of fees on several chains. And to get all this money in one place, they need to spend a bunch of time of one C-level person transacting all this stuff all over the place to one wallet, right? So it obviously can be done manually, but it requires time and accuracy. And automating this process saves a lot of time and money. So that's what we do. We automate the process of fee collection. We transfer these fees to one wallet and then to one chain, and do the predefined workflow that was described for us.
Great, great. So, anyone, any other questions?
Yeah, doesn't look like we have any more questions, so I think we can wrap it up. Thank you very much, Arnav, for helping with the.
One last question from my side.
Okay.
How did you guys start working on such an amazing technology, and what was your journey?
Oh, that's an interesting question, as a matter of fact. So if we talk about Reactive Network as a company, the company is called Parsec, and it's been there for a while. And initially we were building smart triggers, right? The thing that allows you to react to on-chain actions with off-chain stuff. So it generally just sends you the information, right? And then this product was a bit far from the product market fit because it was a bit too complicated. And we switched to building a data indexing solution, Parsec Tsunami API, right? And we were indexing data, working with data for like several years, like from the start. That's generally our expertise, and that's what allowed us to build Reactive. But with a data API, we had a lot of requests for not for bringing data from on-chain to off-chain, which we were doing, but for using on-chain data for on-chain actions. So that's when we found this new idea, and we decided to pivot in the beginning of the previous year. And to me, it looks like it was pretty successful. So now we have this product which runs from on-chain action to an on-chain action, and which is also, unlike the first product, it uses the well-known tech stack, which is just Solidity smart contracts.
Great. That's amazing. So that was all from my side.
Yeah, thank you, Arnav. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you, guys, and thank you for the great questions as well. And looking forward to your registrations, to seeing you at the hackathon.
Thank
And
you, Evan. I'm looking forward as well.
thank you, and have a great day.
Okay, guys. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you for attending the live stream.